ladies and gentlemen, Nathan Cudgel here, and I am about to see Oppenheimer, a whole 2 months after the film came out. See, me and my friend Daniel have been talking for a long time about seeing what we call Sloppenheimer, when she's slopping on my Heimer till I Barbie. Only problem is, we've procrastinated it this long. Until now, it's 9 p.m. on a Saturday, and we're rushing to see one of the last showings of Oppenheimer before it leaves theaters. And I'm here to document the journey and tell the world what it's like to see the most popular film in America a whole 2 months after it came out. Sloppenheimer time!
Just call me angel of the morning.
Just call me Andrew.
You hella late.
Why the fuck are you dressed up? Cause I gotta look fancy for Peaky Blinders man.
I am the Peaky Blinders man.
Here, take this and have fun.
Sloppy toppy?
Is it Cillian or is it Killian? I hear Cillian more often, but Killian sounds cooler. I'm here for Florence Pugh though.
Real. She slopped on my Heimer till I was 2 months late to the movie.
This man's lights are brighter than the atom bomb I'm about to see.
We're at the Morbius Theater.
Morbius!
Yay. We're almost late. Yay.
Yeah, boy. I look just like Killian.
You look like a dumbass. Me for real.
The guy who sold me my drink, his name was also Nathan. His favorite movie was Pixels. It says on his name tag, his favorite movie's Pixels, with Adam Sandler and Peter Dinklage. Man, what kind of urinals are these? No dividers or anything? Are these the dick measuring contest urinals? I'm rooting for the atom bomb.
What am I gonna do to Jacobson?
Albert, did you ever encounter Heisenberg again? Not in person. No.
Well, then he doesn't know enough about it.
No, I've read those comics.
Alright, the film's over. I'm here back with the dick measuring contest urinals. And, having just peed more than I might have ever after a movie, I've come to this conclusion. That might be my new favorite film. I'll talk more about it when I'm not surrounded by these things, but yeah, that's like a 10 out of 10, or as close as you can get. Cillian Murphy gives hope to all odd-looking skinny men out there. If he can get Florence Pugh. This man just stayed up till midnight watching Oppenheimer when he has to go to work at 6 in the morning tomorrow. They want your big black bomb, Hoppy. Say bye, Paul. Ain't he a character? Well, I just finished seeing Oppenheimer, and well, I need a cup of coffee after that movie. I was thinking about it on the drive home. That might be my favorite movie of all time now. Everyone do your best Cillian Murphy dissociating face. That is the best edited movie I've ever seen. Film editing is an art, and I never really appreciated film editing until I started making videos like these, more storyful videos. You know, a couple months back, I kind of just spontaneously started making videos like this, and I really like them, and they are difficult to edit. Sometimes editing is difficult, and I have so much respect for this film because it was able to have 3 concurrent storylines running throughout that are separated by years and have sometimes different main characters. Oppenheimer is only the main character for 2 of the storylines in the film. There's a third where he's not the main character. And you are watching all 3 of these storylines separated by sometimes decades, sometimes only a couple years, and yet I was not lost the whole movie. And there was no point where I thought, oh, that could have been reordered, or oh, they shouldn't have shown that now. And anytime I did start to think something like that, then something would happen where I was like, nope, they did that right. Watching this film is like watching someone 100% perfect a song on Guitar Hero on expert mode. It's like, wait, that's possible? That's about as close as that is the closest I've ever seen to perfect editing in a film. Let's move on to characters. Oppenheimer himself is the most complex character I've ever seen put on screen. Complex in, this is gonna sound paradoxical, I've never watched a film where I disliked a character for the entire movie and did not root for them. And that's not a bad thing. I've never watched a film where the protagonist, I come out of it thinking, yeah, I did not root for him. I did not like him. Loved him. The whole film. Literally, I'm gonna have to stop to get a coffee. I made myself more coffee. Like I was saying, I have never seen a character that paradoxical. From like the very first scenes of the movie, I don't like him. He's not someone I would get along with. He's not someone I'd want to sit down and drink some coffee out of a flannel mug with. But I sympathized with him the entire time. It's just the most paradoxically complex character I've ever seen, which, considering some of the things he talks about in the film involving physics, sometimes there just are paradoxes. At one point he's talking about how light is both photons and waves at the same time, and how that's a paradox, and yet it works. I can't sum up Oppenheimer any other way than to say Oppenheimer is both a character I deplore and love at the same time, and that's a paradox, but it works. He's a character I both want to punch in the face, and it feels weird to say, but I almost want to hug him. The performances are the easiest thing to talk about. They're great, they're standout. Everyone knocked it out of the park. Cillian Murphy gave perhaps the greatest performance I've ever seen, which is so impressive to say about a character who's very quiet. There's no grand dramatic moments with him, and the dramatic moments are him literally saying nothing, having to act with his face. You are watching through his eyes, him just kind of stand there and watch other characters talk and do things, which is, well, I don't mean to spoil anything, but part of what's interesting about his character and part of what's interesting about how he rises and falls is he's a quiet person who never really commits to anything. I've never seen a character put to screen like that. I've never seen someone who flip-flops back and forth and yet is so consistent in flipping back and forth. Was Oppenheimer a communist? Well, no. Was he an anti-communist? Well, no. Well, what was he? Good question, isn't it? He was nothing, and he was everything. He caused everything, and yet he himself was kind of nothing. It's a paradox. It doesn't make sense, but it works. I'll finally just end out everything I'm saying. I don't want to turn this into the 30-minute Borat review. The reason this might be my favorite movie of all time is because it's such an important story, both out of what to do with your own life and also just what humanity as a whole needs to be thinking about. Ultimately, I think the point of film and media in general is always supposed to be to have a theme. I sound like an English teacher, but a theme is what makes something worthwhile. That was hard for me to grasp as a kid learning that English class. Like, why does something need a theme? You know, why can't you just enjoy something because it's enjoyable? But ultimately, the difference between a roller coaster and a movie, or a book, or a show, or a song even, is theme. If you don't have that, there's no point in watching it or making it in the first place. It's a nothing burger. It was a waste of time if you don't have theme. I don't think it's a spoiler to state the theme of a movie. If you feel it is, double tap your screen a couple times and fast forward. I don't blame you. I'm a stickler for spoilers too. Sometimes it's okay. But the theme of Oppenheimer is that you cannot go your whole life without committing to something and facing the consequences of actions before they happen. If you do that, it could lead to destruction, not just for yourself, but for everyone. You have to think about why you do things and examine them deeply, and be able to pick a side and face the consequences of that side. Otherwise, you'll face the consequences of every side, and so will the rest of the world. I mean, obviously, not everyone's gonna be the next Oppenheimer. Not everyone's gonna invent the next technology that changes the world, but there's lots of things out there that can be applied to, not just in personal life about having a job, but also in a lot bigger issues. You need to commit to something. You cannot be a pragmatist your whole life. You cannot sit on the fence your whole life, because the fence is not only the most dangerous place to sit for you, it's the most dangerous place for everyone on both sides, for someone to sit on the fence the way Oppenheimer did. I suppose I can leave it at that. I'd love to talk about it further, but I don't want to actually get into spoilers, and I almost feel like this is something that I'd rather talk about vaguely. Go watch Oppenheimer. It's a fantastic movie. It's a paradoxical movie, but it works. What matters is the fact that the movie itself, I would call history. Not because of its box office, or because it came out the same day as Barbie, which I somehow went this whole video without mentioning, because of what it tackles and how it relates to real life. So yeah, go watch Oppenheimer. It might be my new favorite movie. I can't commit to saying that yet. Call me Oppenheimer, but I can't commit. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you watched that last portion. I don't blame you if you didn't. Later.
And I remember that I am the Peaky Blinders man. I've never watched this show.